lot of our early tunes, I'm thinking particularly of Nights in White Satin, the first time we ever heard them was recorded at the radio station. Before we ever recorded them live for real at Decca. And I remember that on stage it was a nice song. But when you heard it back for the first time, you thought, hello.
Did you get support from the pirate ships that used to dock off the coast of England?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we had problems with that, they were right behind us, Caroline and the others,
They would play something that was longer than 2.5 minutes long.
And then, of course, in the States, starting around 67, 68, we started to get the FM progressive stations, and that started to really, they grabbed hold of your music.
Yeah, we were very fortunate that we arrived in the USA really just when FM radio was needing our kind of stuff. And quite by accident, I can't say this was designed, but we were very lucky to have great engineers, and Derek Varnos is never really given enough credit, but he made the sounds of those first few records. And so when we got to America, our stuff was in a perfect stereo image, whereas the Beatles and other bands like that in the 60s, their idea of I'm really surprised at George Martin actually, because his idea of stereo was drums on the left and
Ringo on the
right. Yes. And it just sounded rubbish on the FM radio. But then it sounded fantastic in mono, and that was what it was for.
That's how it was made.
Was there one particular FM station or city in the States that you that gravitated to the Moody Blues first and really broke you guys?
Should I tell? Can I tell it? We were, Nights had been out probably 9 or 10 months, and it got pretty high, about 24, 25 first time.
I don't know.
It got up there, but it wasn't a monster, and we were releasing Voices in the Sky, and the record company got in touch with us and they asked us to do some more work on Nights, and we sort of said, oh no, we want a new one, we've got to get me on the new one. But there was this guy in Seattle. And anybody,
You know what he's going to say.
Anybody here from Manchester? There was this guy from Seattle, and he worked the midnight shift, 12 till 4. And round about 2 in the morning, he used to get a little straight, shall we say. And he went down his playlist and just picked the longest record he had on his playlist. And he just put it on and went out for his bong. And after about 2 weeks, all of a sudden the requests started flooding in. The people, it was in the little FM end of the radio station, people couldn't get through because they only had one line. So they were ringing the FM station, getting them to put them through to ringing the AM station, getting them to put them to the FM station, requesting the record. It was a breakout in Seattle, then went all across Washington State. Is it Seattle in Washington? Yeah, in Manchester. And from there, spread all across the country. And so, when people ask you how you get a hit, you need to find a DJ who's a pothead.
Or has to go to the bathroom. Kindergarten to be But many times I had to monitor the station while that was playing.
I meant the potty head,
And so, Justin, when you said, you were almost at the point where you were going to move back home, when did you remember when that day, not the day, but what prevented you from moving back home?
Well, actually, we got a lifeline from our, after we left Brian Epstein, that we were with, when I joined the band and then John joined, wasn't really interested in us at all. But we went with my old agent, a guy called Colin Berlin, and he got us a few decent gigs, but he got us a couple of weeks in Cabaret in the north of England. and it was at winter time, and it was just desperate. We were doing doubles and stuff like that, and we were just. It wasn't that we were dying. It was just that we weren't being true to ourselves, and we weren't enjoying it. And we were coming home in the van one night, and we just made a kind of pact in the transit van that we had to really just kind of throw away the blue suits, forget the past, and just live on what we could do from here on out. And we just did our own material from that moment on. And it's incredible how quickly we got a following in the first month of just doing our own stuff, because we were a completely new kind of people presenting ourselves sincerely and not trying to do cover versions.
I think one of the catalysts on that was on the last night. I don't know where it was in England, but one of these clubs. There was a knock on the door and someone said, at the dressing room door, could we come in and just say hello? And we thought, okay, here they go, 1 hour autographs and photographs. And I said, it's the worst band we've ever heard. And it really was the catalyst. We said, they're right, why are we doing these songs? Why are we trying to play in places we don't belong? We belong, we're all really young, of course, at that time. We belong, with young people playing our music. Let's go and find out who we are. And that's what we did. We just disappeared.
It's very clear for all of us, and I remember coming home and I think I cried, and then Ray came over to comfort me in the dressing room. And then he burst into tears, and it was just so stupidly sad, because we were staying in these awful, what do they call it, bed and breakfast, for these couple of weeks. But thank you, Collie, because at least we did survive through that. But we got to about Scotch Corner, and British people will know where that is, from Stockton or somewhere like that, up in the northeast. And Graham used to have a little spot in the transit van right at the back, on the top of some amps or something. And there was silence. There was silence in the back. And there's silence in the van until we got to about Scotch Corner, and I heard Graham's voice say, "He's right, that bloke."
Because he wasn't mad, he wasn't angry.
No.
So you couldn't get upset with him, and it just rang so true.
So that's that.
Honesty is a good thing, and that was a great decision to, stop what you're doing and start fresh. So now it comes to, songwriting.
Yeah.
For you have a mellotron in the band, you have a flute in the band. These are not of the day instruments, I would imagine. Certainly, Stones and the
once we
Beatles
made the decision to change, no, we were still playing. I think we were still playing. Mike was still playing piano at that time, and I think it all coincided with this. Within about a week of finding the mellotron and making our songs work like that.
Was it difficult to write material to incorporate those different instruments?
It made our songs work. I mean, you have to give Mike. We're crediting a lot of people, but Derek Varnell's, yes, for the sound of that mellotron, the engineer, Tony for the way he saw kind of recording, and Mike for realizing that piano just wasn't going to make it. Because he is a fantastic piano player, brilliant, but it wasn't what was needed for the. You can hear it on Fly Me High. The piano sound is absolutely fantastic. There's no mellotron. I think Fly Me High was pre-mellotron. So that's the sound of us before trying to find ourselves.
I think also it comes the other way around first. You write the song, and then what do we need to make the song work? We didn't write the songs for the mellotron. And just going back to Mike, he tried the piano, and then he tried a B3 Hammond organ, then he tried a Farfisa organ, and then he tried another type of organ.
Vox Continental.
Vox Continental, for all you aficionados. And, but he remembered he'd worked at the Mellotron factory in Streatley, near Birmingham. And And he said, there's this instrument in Streatley that was made for Eric Robinson and his orchestra, where they could just hold sort of different tunes on. He said, I wonder if we could use that, and we went up and we bought it for, I think, $1,000 from a sport club. They had a second-hand one at Fort Dunlop that used to make tyres, and in their club they had this Mellotron and no one knew how it worked at all. And Mike said, oh, we'll take it from you. Which we did, and then that was it. We were away. Found the perfect instrument.
You were on your way.
And we became experts at repairing that tank.
What a coat hanger, as Justin was saying yesterday.
Sorry?
What a coat hanger, you said Mike was behind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, coat hangers. Coat hangers. Why a coat hanger is a very useful thing to have around. You should always have one in your home toolbox to sort of put things out of places. I really recommend it.
Or in your pocket if you lock yourself out of your car. Well, it used to be able to anyway. That's
You
changed.
undo the car with the car, didn't you? You know about all that, so I'm sure.
Right,
Cars.
because I'm from Brooklyn? No, but I know. And so, and of course, then we go on to Days of Future Past, and we've, progressed now to, 45 plus years. And just my last topic regarding the Mellotron and the flute.
Yeah.
Bands like Chicago, they were known obviously for the horn section.
Yeah.
And so over time, some of the writers perhaps tried to write where it didn't include the horns and maybe try to go in different directions. Was that ever difficult for you guys to, I know what you're leading to. It was never difficult in terms of the Mellotron or anything like that, or the sound of the three of us. We were secure in that, and Mike's Mellotron. I think we did consciously try to include flutes, because that was Ray's thing, and that was an interesting sound. And also, on our first tour of America, curiously enough, we played it in another band that did play flutes, which was we mentioned yesterday, which was Candy. And if you listen to their records, there's a that was all on flutes as well. Curiously enough, you don't meet many. No.
Not until Ian came along that really there was another one.
Yeah, and he's still carrying the torch there,
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
with you guys. So, I've come all this way.
Yeah.
Can I make a request? Well, not a request. Do you want to play something? You have some instruments here. Basically, I'm filling for time, so I know what to ask you next.
You're thinking of something to say.
No, I've got plenty of notes here.
Where's he gone? Oh, you're sitting there. You're just looking for something.
We thought you were singing.
So you were going to ask us how we wrote something. So I'm going to say that now. I'm going to answer you that.
That's actually part of my notes,
So
Justin, how did you write?
How did you write such and such?
when I was about 11 years old, 10 or 11 years old, I thought one day I'm going to write an absolutely brilliant song. That's going to be my thing, to write a brilliant song. So I went in the front room and got me this old guitar that I got from headquarters and general supplies, and then I thought, nah, I'm not going to write a brilliant song, I'm going to do this. Please don't tell, no, don't tell that I told you so. I just heard a rumor from a friend. I don't say that it's true, I'll just leave that up to you. If you don't believe, I'll understand. Do you recall the girl that's been in nearly every song? Well, this is what I heard. Of course, the story could be wrong. She's the one I've been told. Now she's wearing a band of gold. Maybe soon
story could be wrong. She's the one I've been told. Now she's wearing a band gold. Peggy Sue got married not long ago. Peggy Sue got married not long ago. That's the other one. Go on, John. Peggy Sue, pretty, 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 pretty Peggy Sue. Oh, Peggy, my Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, girl, and I want you, Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue, pretty, 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 pretty Peggy Sue. Oh, Peggy, my Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, girl, I love you, Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, girl, and I want you, Peggy Sue. So we thought we'd leave the songwriting for a few years after.
Well, that was quite a treat. Thank you very much. What was it about
Actually, where that came from, we could do lots of that. We covered the three of us could do that all night, yeah.
I'm sure they would not have. What was it about Buddy Holly, just one person, that influenced so many of you Brits? And do you think his impact would he have been able to go on, or do you think he might have fallen into that trap of the 50s nostalgia acts that, you know, quickly gave way when, of course, the Beatles and the likes of you all came along?
What do you think?
It's a long story, but up until that time, you know, rock and roll was all about these icons, people like Gene Vincent and Jerry Lee Lewis, and English people had a real trouble putting all those clothes on and becoming that person. And I remember there was a television show in England called Jukebox Jury, and they played this song called That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And I fell in love with it immediately. I just couldn't believe it. It was just perfect. And then I saw a photograph of Buddy Holly, and I thought, yeah, I mean, this guy with glasses wearing a suit and a tie. And I thought, that's who we are in England, really, and at that time. And I waited. I went and ordered the record, and I waited about 6 weeks before it actually arrived in England. And I was just absolutely captivated by this Buddy Holly. And fortunately, my sister, who was older than me, had a boyfriend, and he was trying to impress her really well. And for all those people in Birmingham who know the town hall, my sister's boyfriend came home and said, "I've bought a ticket for you to go and see Buddy Holly." And it's in the front circle at the town hall in Birmingham. I couldn't believe it, to go and see Buddy Holly. I've still got the programme, and that was it. You know, it was just absolute magic that sort of came over me, going there and seeing Buddy Holly, and that was it. I think I went and bought every Buddy Holly record possible, and over the last 40 years I've searched everywhere to get everything he's ever recorded, and there's just something really special about how he put a song together, the lyrics, and it was emotion. It was all from him, you know, and it was just beautiful. And Justin and I'll carry on with the story. When we followed, we did one tour when they.
We got close.
Yeah.
Didn't we, I don't think we're playing there. We have played there in London since.
Yeah, we have played in Larwick.
Yeah.
And
But we were close, and you and I made a.
we wanted a midnight journey to go and see where Buddy Holly was. You know, and we got someone to actually open up the cemetery at midnight. And Justin and I went in there, we wandered around, and we found Buddy Holly's grave. And we just stood there looking at it and thinking about who he was. And we thought, we want to leave something, what can we do? And this is absolutely true. We both thought at the same time. We had our plectrums, or pigs as you call them, and we both put our plectrums on his graveside. And as we did that, this is not a word of a lie, a cricket came and walked right across the grave.
When we came together, that's the one thing, big thing we had in common. It wasn't a question of different musical styles or everything. We just all, we knew that stuff, and so that's it. In the UK, really, there was only, I mean, I know, digressing back to English rock and roll, but we're kind of experts on that. That's the trouble. We're not really experts on what happens in the Moody's, because it just happens beautifully, and I'm not sure that we'd analyse it too much. But really, there was only one rock and roll record for us in the UK, which was Moonlit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by Cliff. And Cliff was the closest we got. Oh, I got another song. So there was one song that was written by a friend of ours, very good friend of the group's, for Cliff. I got myself a crying, talking, sleep.